Okay, vente. Good boy. Hi friends, how are you today? I am finally back. I have been trying to upload videos constantly, but this past few weeks have been very hard for me. 2 weeks ago when I was filming my what I eat in a day video, I actually got an injury the next day on my foot and I couldn't wear shoes. I couldn't go to the gym for a week. I couldn't walk properly. I couldn't do a lot of things. And I also had to go to the dentist because I was getting like a lot of pain on the left side on my mouth. And I have to take out all of my 4 wisdom teeth, which I wasn't really expecting that, and I'm gonna be doing that in the next month. So that's why I wasn't able to film until today. I have a day off work today and I have a little bit of time before I have to go, so I decided to film a very relaxed video, which is gonna be my fitness journey. I've never really told anybody or shown pictures of when I started versus now. It hasn't been very long since I started working out, but I feel like I've made a lot of changes. I feel like it will be very motivational to other girls that think that you have to be working out years and years to see changes. In reality, if you're a beginner, you will see a lot of changes in the first year, which is what happened to me. I've been working out for around a year and 2 months or 3 months. I started working out on February 2020 and today it is actually May 1st. So yeah, I think like a year and 3 months roughly. And I mean working out like very consistently because I've actually been working out since, or not working out, but like having like an active life or doing some kind of activity, like physical activity, since probably like 2014, 2015. But like to be going to the gym and doing weights and going at least 3 times a week, it has been a year and 3 months. That is what definitely has changed my body. I think a lot of women think that if they lift weights, they're gonna look like manly or very bulky, and that is not the truth. And I didn't really notice any changes in my body until I started lifting weights. So I want to share my story with you guys, and I'm gonna be putting pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures actually from when I started, but I have a few. I have a ton of pictures and videos like from recently or like a couple months ago. At the beginning, I didn't really took pictures. I don't know why. I should have. I think I'm gonna insert them on this side. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I'll figure it out. Still learning to edit. Okay, so let me start by saying I know it hasn't been too long. I know I am nowhere near from like my end result or my desired result, like nowhere near, because I see changes like every single month still, even though it has been a year and 3 months since I started working out. And I know I don't have like the perfect body, or my body is not like wow. I see all those girls on Instagram that have like amazing bodies, and they have been working out for like at least 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, I don't know. And I know I still have a long way to go. But a lot of girls always ask me like, how long did it take you to see like at least a little bit of results? And I am being completely honest with you. I've seen the most results in this past year. I know I'm gonna continue to see more results in the next few years, but I think when you're a beginner is when you see the most results, because your body is not used to training and you change a lot in your first, I think 3 years is when you change the most. So that's why I'm doing this video, to show that in a year, and I know a year sounds a crazy amount of time, but a year goes by like so fast. I can't believe we're in May already. I remember when the pandemic started a little bit over a year ago, and we were all very worried and we thought the months were going by so slow, but now it's over a year and we're actually almost at the middle of 2021. That's crazy. So let me tell you that a year goes by super fast, so don't worry a ton. You'll see results actually in the first couple months. I started seeing results like in the first 2 to 3 months. Let me start because I'm not making sense. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning. I actually started working out, or not working out, but like doing some type of physical activity when I was very young. I actually was a dancer. I started dancing when I was like 9 years old. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I was born in Cancun, Mexico. So over there they do like carnivals. I actually was in a institution where they compete on the carnival to see who got the first place and all of that. So I was actually one of the 6 like principal girls, or like the 6, I don't know like what's it called, but like I was one of like the 6 most important girls in like the group, and I had to go dance like every single day, a ton of hours. So that's when I first started doing like something like exercise type. Dancing is really hard. I consider it like hard, but I was like around 9 years old and I did that for around 4 years, I want to say, like when I was about like 12, 13 years old. And it was actually very fun. I really enjoyed it. But that being said, I think because of that and my metabolism, my genetics, my dad has a very good metabolism, so I inherited it from him. I have a very fast metabolism, so I've always been a very skinny girl. And my mom, she doesn't have that good of a metabolism, but she has a very beautiful like curvy body, so I got those genetics from her, and combined I think that's why I look how I look. Because a ton of people ask me like, how did you grow your legs and your lower body but you're still like very slim, like your abs show a little bit but you grew like your lower body very well. So I think it's definitely genetics, and I don't say that to discourage anybody, but definitely genetics play a huge role in how you're gonna look. That doesn't mean, of course, that you can't grow a lower body or an upper body. It just means that maybe you're gonna have to like put a little bit more effort or a little bit more work into whatever it is you want to grow, depending on your genetics. Or if you have very good genetics, you don't have to put a lot of work. We all look very different, and that's okay. That's actually what makes us like very special and unique, each of us. But that doesn't mean you can't get results. It just means that you might get them a little bit later or a little bit sooner. But definitely my genetics have helped me a lot. So on my dad's side, it's very hard for me to put on weight. Very hard. And if I stop eating, if I eat like a very low calorie diet, I lose weight super fast. And I think that is as bad as having to watch your diet to not gain weight, because my goals are to gain weight and build muscle, and that's very hard for me because of my genetics. So yeah, continuing with the story, after I was dancing and all of that, I definitely wasn't eating enough. So I was very skinny, and I don't have pictures of that time. I think all my pictures are in Cancun. I was very skinny, and a lot of people would tell me like, oh, you have to eat more, you look very skinny. There was actually some people that would ask me, do you have like eating disorders, because I was very skinny. It was just because I was doing a lot of physical activity and I wasn't eating enough. Even though I've always had a good appetite, I wasn't eating enough for the calories I was burning. After that, I think I got very busy with school, because at that time I was starting like middle school, and I think I stopped with the dancing. And then a couple years after that, I started going to spinning with my grandma, and I don't even know why. Like, I think she just asked me if I wanted to go, and I started going. At that time, actually, I started seeing a little bit of growth in my muscles, because spinning it's very hard, and you have to use your legs a lot. Because I was very skinny, I didn't have like really any fat to burn. I started gaining a little bit of muscle, not much, because I wasn't eating enough protein, I wasn't eating enough food. I did that for I think maybe 2 years or something like that. Also, with doing the spinning classes, I was a cheerleader for the school, so I was kind of like doing a little bit of physical activity there. That's the first time ever that I saw like a change in my body, and to me that was a lot. I know I still look very skinny, and I was very happy about it. Then I had to move, so I completely stopped spinning with my grandma. And when I moved here, I started school, so it was very hard for me to like do something. The only thing I was doing in school, that was around 2014, 2015. The only thing I would have as a physical activity was PE classes maybe, and that was it. Around 2015 though, I actually joined the tennis team of the school, and I was doing like some physical activity there, but like I said, I wasn't eating enough, so it was the same story. I was doing like some physical activity but like not eating enough, and I didn't know that. After that year, I moved again to a different city, and it was my last year of high school. That year I was actually very mad because I did every single year of high school in a different school, but like that's another story. So my last year of high school, I didn't do like nothing, just like went to school and that was it. I didn't do any physical activity. When the year ended, I was still like very skinny, and I lost completely like all the little muscles I had. And around that time, that's when the comments of like, oh, you look very skinny, you don't eat enough, you need to eat more. I didn't really mind it when I was younger, but when the years passed, they would start getting to me, because sometimes people don't think when they say things. Even though I know those comments were not to like harm me, it will get in my head so bad that I would like try to eat more, and I couldn't because I had a very small stomach and I had a very fast metabolism. So even though I would eat more, it wouldn't work. And I really did try to gain weight, but it was very hard for me. And also like the comments of, oh, you look very skinny, are just as harmful as when somebody tells you, oh, you look a little bit chubby, you look a little bit fat, you know. Like that's when I first started thinking like I have to do something, because I look very skinny, and I really did look very skinny. I actually have a couple pictures of that time, and I was very skinny. I know my legs were very skinny. I didn't have like any problem eating, it was just my high metabolism. At that time, I remember my dad asked us if we wanted to go to the gym. I was the first one to say yes, I want to go to the gym, and we like got in a gym. I think it was around like 2017, 2018. I don't know. I was like 18 or 19 years old at that time, and that was the first time ever that I started going to the gym, but I really wasn't going like enough. I think I was maybe going like 2 times a week, maybe 3, but like I wasn't doing the right thing. Definitely, I didn't know nothing about the gym. I didn't know nothing about nutrition, nothing. And I also couldn't go like enough times, because at that time I actually started working. I didn't have a lot of time to like go to the gym and like concentrate in doing that, so I didn't see a ton of results. Maybe like a little bit, but like not enough, definitely. And after like a couple months, I would like just stop going, or just go once a week, twice a week, I don't know. And eventually like I just stopped going because I really wasn't seeing nothing. I think that year passed, 2019, I didn't do nothing, like not even a little bit of physical activity, nothing. That's around the time I started working with my dad, but at that time I started eating a little bit better, a little bit more, and I actually started seeing a little bit of weight gain, and I was actually very happy about that, because like all my life I wanted to gain weight and I couldn't. And it was actually in the summer of 2019 that I think that was when I saw myself the first time and thought, I am now gaining weight. Like I could see a little bit of weight gain, and I could see it only like around my face maybe, and around my thighs and my stomach. And I think I have a picture of that. One time we went to the pool. I actually uploaded that picture, but I thought like I don't look as skinny as I used to. And that was actually the time when I thought I might just like start the gym, because if I'm gaining weight and I go to the gym, I might be able to like build some muscle. And around that time, actually my boyfriend's brother, so my brother-in-law, he would ask us to go to the gym with him, and we will always be like, yeah, maybe we will start like soon. And we would never go. I think it was like that time, it's 2019 at the end, but there was a point that he was like insisting, let's go to the gym, let's go to the gym. I will teach you guys. And around that time, the end of 2019, I still had the membership with the gym I was supposedly going to, but I never went. And around that time, that gym actually closed, so they transferred us all to the gym that my brother-in-law was going. And I told him, I was like, just coincidentally they transfer us all to the gym that you're going, so now I have a membership in the gym that you're going. So that was around the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. I think it was like, I don't know, end of January, beginning of February. That's when I started going with him. He would teach me a lot of things. He would help me with a lot of things. It was the first time ever that I was doing weights, and I really liked it, to be honest. He pushed me a lot. That's definitely what got me to see results, because he definitely helped me a lot. He wouldn't let me stop. He would make me finish every single set, every single rep. So for like the first 3 months, I definitely saw a ton of changes. I would go at least to the gym like 5 times a week with him, and we would do legs 3 days, and I would do arms like 2 times a week. I think he was doing like 3 times a week, and I only did 2 because I really thought that I would look very manly if I did a lot of like upper body. But I was really enjoying it, to be honest. And this time I made sure I was eating enough, because I actually started watching YouTube videos about working out and having a proper diet and eating enough protein. So this time I really concentrated in eating enough, and eating enough carbs, eating enough protein. I wasn't tracking, but I started eating more, and I started seeing changes like very fast. In the first 3 months is when my body completely changed, especially my lower body. I started seeing my quads grow. I am a very quad dominant person. I know some people are more glute dominant or hamstring and glute dominant. I am a very quad dominant person, which I wish I was a glute dominant person, but that's fine. I just have to like activate first, and that's it. But even though I am a very quad dominant person, I definitely saw a lot of changes in my lower body. Like overall, my glutes, hamstrings, everything grow really fast. That's definitely thanks to my mom's genetics. That's what honestly made me just keep going and just not quit, because I saw a lot of progress. And actually I think I also saw progress very fast, because I didn't have any fat to burn. I was very skinny, so I started building muscle, and I saw it right away because there was like no fat covering the muscles. So it definitely helped me a lot. I think if you have fat to burn, you will have to do that first. Do a little bit more cardio, but still like do weights, because that burns a ton of calories. Maybe start a cut, and when you lose most of the fat, you will see muscles grow very fast. So I was very happy, honestly, with my results. That's when I started like recording myself a little bit more, taking more pictures, because I was very happy with my progress, and a ton of people also noticed, and that made me really happy. And maybe I was wrong at that time, because I was just doing it for the looks. I was just doing it for like the physical appearance, but I was very happy. So I was definitely building muscle, but I still looked very skinny elsewhere. And that's when I learned about cutting and bulking. Definitely watching YouTube videos and following like fitness pages on Instagram helped me a lot in learning what to eat and how to track calories and how to track protein and all of that, how much protein I should take and everything. Oh, but I forgot to tell you that so I started February and the pandemic started on March or April, I think. That's when the gyms closed. It was a very hard time because I was very happy going to the gym and suddenly everything closed. But because I was very motivated, I purchased some bands, I purchased a couple things, and I would do my routines at home. And I am very proud of myself because most people, when the gyms closed, they were like, whatever, like I'll just like return when the gyms open again. And I think people thought that they were gonna open like soon, but that definitely didn't happen. So for like 2 months I was working out at home. It was definitely not the same as working out at the gym. Like, it's a different vibe. If you're at home, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. You don't feel motivated, you don't feel like that you're there, so you have to do it. Sometimes I would do my workouts, and I am very proud that I continued to do it at home. But there was definitely days when I didn't want to do it, I didn't feel motivated, and I would have to put on a gym outfit to feel like I would want to do it. Because I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I put like a cute gym outfit, I feel like very motivated to work out. I definitely want to do it more if I'm wearing an outfit that makes me look good, that makes me feel good. So being at home, it was very hard, but I am very surprised that I did it anyways. After, I think it was in June or July, gyms open again here in Colorado. So the first day that they opened, I was like the first one to be there because I wanted to continue. I wanted to continue seeing progress. I was very excited to see more results, and I kept going to the gym. I would go every single day. I actually had to learn a little bit more over the pandemic. I had a lot of time to watch YouTube videos, and I wanted to apply all of that into my routine. And from June or July to like August or September, I was really putting on effort. I was really going every single day. I definitely saw a ton of results. I started going to the gym around that time. Not anymore to change how I looked, but I was very stressed about work. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a PDR technician. PDR stands for painless dent repairs. So whenever hail falls in the cars, they make like little dents, or sometimes big dents, and my job is to like take them out, so make it look like it looked before. And we had a ton of cars around that time, and I was very stressed. That's when I started going to the gym very late because I would get out of work very late. So actually at that time, going to the gym really helped me like get all of my stress out. But definitely what keeps me going now is whenever I have a stressful day and I have a lot of work, I go to the gym, and it's like a little bit of time for just myself, to work on myself, to get all of my stress out. And of course, if looking good, if looking better, if having a better health comes with it, that's also very good. But this past couple of months, I haven't been as consistent as I was at the beginning. I don't know why, but I definitely plan on being more consistent. I actually did my first bulk. That was like at the end of 2020 when the summer was over. I started doing a bulk. When I started my bulk, I think my weight was 118 pounds, and now I weigh 128 pounds. So I've gained 10 pounds. I know that's not a lot, but it's a lot for me because it's very hard for me to gain weight. That definitely took a lot of food and a lot of protein shakes. Came to say hi again. Good. I'll soon start doing a cut, maybe halfway through May or beginning of June, because I'm going to Miami this summer and I want to look a little bit lean. Right now in my bulk, I definitely got more muscle, but I also definitely got a little bit of fat. and I store fat like in my inner thighs mostly, and a little bit on my lower stomach. I think everybody, that's a very common place to get fat, in your lower stomach. But hopefully when I do my cut, I will get a little bit more lean. Definitely over the past year, I have learned what works for my body, what exercises work for my body, and what nutrition, what foods work also for me. It's definitely always gonna be like a learning process, and I know I am nowhere near where I want to be. I am nowhere near how I want to look, but hopefully I keep growing and keep learning, and hopefully over the next 2 years we can see a lot more changes. But yeah, anyways, I think that's it. The last thing I want to say is that if you want to start going to the gym, you go with somebody that pushes you and somebody that motivates you to go and to do the stuff, because that really helped me at the beginning. Now I go by myself, and I still think that if I went with somebody, I could be a little bit more motivated and I could be a little bit more consistent. But like at the beginning, it was definitely something that really helped me, going with somebody else and push each other to like do more and do more reps, do more sets, do more weight. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I can motivate somebody to maybe start their fitness journey. And if you have any questions, you can leave me a comment. Hopefully I didn't forget something. Thank you for taking some time of your day to watch my video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.